All right. Hello, everyone. So today you are going to continue from where we left off on Tuesday, where you created one polygon that was rotating into another by 180 degrees, except that the image will look a little bit more complicated. And I haven't put in the action buttons to run or stop, but if I make my slider and I let my slider play, then I want to create this effect today. Now I added something called trace so that the points trace out a curve. And it basically explains to me the direction that the other polygon is moving towards. So it's starting here, moving towards this way, moving that way. All right. Now I added a feature called clear trace, which I'll give you the code for in this video. And all that does is it makes this tracing these lines, it makes them disappear. Now, of course, as soon as I do the movement, they will come back, but I just press here and it will disappear. All right. So this is the image I want to create. And so to do that, I'm going to modify your original instructions of the video that I gave you on Tuesday. Okay. So let me just switch tabs. So first step, I'm still going to begin with a circle with center through point. I'll make it about maybe that big. I will purposely move this point so that it's out of the way. Put it maybe at about here. And I am going to begin by now creating a regular polygon from the center out to the edge. Notice that this is not supposed to touch point B, it's supposed to just be anywhere on the edge. And in terms of vertices, I want it to be 3, so 3 and enter. Now that I have that, I'm going to test it out. All that means is this particular point should allow me to rotate my triangle. I'll make it look like this. And then the next thing I'm going to do, which is a little bit different than the construction on Tuesday, is I'm going to go to this point tool and select midpoint or center. And I'm going to do that for all 3 sides. I'm going to find the midpoint of this side, and this side. All right. So here's the thing. On the original video on Tuesday, I had told you to create another circle that would kind of be from the center here out to one of the edges. I'm not going to include that circle this time. Let's think of it as a shortcut. I'm going to go ahead and at this point in time, let me move my circle out the way. I'm going to move my circle off to the side a little bit, maybe around there. And now I'm going to add a slider. Now the slider is going to be an angle slider. So I'll select that. I wanted to only travel 180 degrees. So change that to 18. And I want this to turn into the letter T. It's just easier to type that way. And so now that I do that, I press OK. And for now, I go to my arrow tool. This won't do anything. It's supposed to go from 0 all the way to 180. That's all it should do. So let's put it at 0. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, create an angle with given size. But I want to make sure that when I select this, the point and the vertex. Now, think of it this way. The vertex is going to be the point where it's going to do the rotating. Okay, so when I have this that says point vertex, vertex is second. So I'm imagining having a triangle here. I'll go back to my original image. I have a triangle here, and I want this particular triangle to rotate from this corner. Okay. So with that in mind, that means I'm going to select this point, and this is the corner since the vertex is second. And now I'm going to replace that with the letter T because I want it to be controlled by the slider. Keep it counterclockwise on purpose. All right, so let's test that out. If I did it correctly, it should look like when the slider changes, it should look like there's a point here that rotates this way, okay? Which is counterclockwise. So I'll test it out. And there it is. It's moving in the right direction. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm now going to attach to this particular point, this random point that's just kind of moving around, right? It's just moving around back and forth. I'm going to put it here. Don't put it at 0. It's not going to work. Put it off, even if it's just a little bit, so that you can see it. I'll put it here because it's nice and obvious. Now I'm going to add a polygon, regular polygon, and it has to go from here to here. And again, it's supposed to be a triangle, so I'll put 3. Press OK. And when I test it, it should look like this triangle fits in there, but it rotates around this way. Okay. So this is where it starts to get a little bit weird. I now want to create this one, but when I do the movement, this is supposed to rotate this way. So this is the vertex. But this is the side that, let's put this side here has to lift to go that way. Okay. So let me see if this works. I am going to go back to the same thing, angle with given size. And this is the one that has to be the vertex, which is second. So I'm going to go from here to there. And I'm still going to control everything with T. So I'm going to go ahead and put it that way. Counterclockwise means the same thing. Press OK. I don't know what the effect is, so I'm going to go ahead and test it. So it looks like it's spinning the right way. Okay. All right. So do you remember how I had to move this little point around right here? Originally, it was right here, and I had to move it around so that, I didn't end up having some random point. I'll do the same thing here. I want to make sure that this is the point I want to concentrate on. And so when I did that, I'm going to go to polygon, regular polygon. And I'm going to start from here off to there. And 3. Now, if in case it doesn't fit quite right, then all that means is I got to change the direction. But let's see what happens if I do this. Press OK. And now I'm going to move it. And it looks like it's spinning correctly. All right, next one. I want this one to move. And as this one moves, here's where it's going to move. This is the corner. So it's going to go from here to here, and it's going to move this way. Okay, so let's try that out. Here is my angle with given size. This is the corner it's going to move. So from here to there, and that's the corner that's moving. And again, call it T, still counterclockwise. And I'm going to test it as well. Now it looks like maybe that one is not quite right. In other words, this one doesn't seem to be in the right spot. So what that tells me then is that I maybe have thought about it wrong. So let me undo. And I'm going to undo there. All right, so let's think carefully. All There we go. Here's the concern. This is the point that's supposed to do the rotating from here. So let me see here. I'm going to go to the angle, and I'm going to go from here to here because this is going to be the vertex. And I will put this as T. And I will test it now. There we go. This point here, this is what I want to see. And just like before, regular polygon from here to here. Vertices is 3 and enter. Now I have this image like this right now, and so if I finish like this, I should be able to now make this move. Okay. So let me do something real quick. I don't really need this circle, so I'm going to hide the circle, get that out the way. And I can clean up the image any way that I want after the fact. But what I want to do now is I want to go ahead and kind of create for myself the possibility of adding the trace feature. So I want to add the trace feature. So basically I decided to pick a point from each of the corners. And that's the point that traces. So all I got to do is this. I got to pick this point, go to settings. And when I select this particular point, I'm going to click show trace. This corner is this one, so I'll click on this corner, show trace. And last but not least, I'm going to see if it lets me move this up to the side. There we go. I moved it a little bit to the side. And now this one is the same for that. So this one is going to be show trace. Press X. And now let me see. There we go. I don't like that I moved this around that way. So let me kind of adjust it maybe around here. All I got to do is click on the image and drag it. It might change the size a little bit, so I'll play with that later. Now, the problem is that it's kind of messy. There's all these little things moving, like little dots and so forth. So here is the action button. I'm going to create a button, put it here. I'm going to call it clear trace. And the script is going to be like this: capital zoom in, capital I, and then these brackets with a 1 in between. Now these brackets are the ones that are square brackets. Usually you'll find them right next to letter P in the keyboard. Okay. So I'll press OK. And nothing seems to happen. So I'm going to go here to my arrow tool and now press clear trace. Now if I've done this correctly, right, I clicked it maybe more than once. I might have to click it more than once, but if I've done it correctly, this should now erase the trace. When I move this, the tracing comes back as I expect, but every time I press clear trace, then it goes away. And other than maybe cleaning up all of these little labels so that they don't appear, I am pretty much done. Okay. If I go to there we are. Here is the letter for my slider. I click here, then I should now have the animation just like the other one. And other than cleaning up the numbers and making the construction look nice, I am basically done. Okay. Thank you.